So every golfer that comes to see me tells me that they want to hit the ball dead straight, and yet when they hit the shots, I don't see anybody who hits it probably even that straight. And very often golfers have got big slices, big hooks, pull slices, just everything other than the straight one. And when I talk about what they need to get better at, it really does blow their minds, because it's something that even if they've been playing golf for 30 years, they've never worked on. Now, I know what you're thinking. You've got all shots in the locker and you struggle for that straight one. But why do you struggle with it? Well, it's all about, can you control where that club face is at impact? And a lot of golfers that I speak to say that because they set up with the club face square and they've got a good grip and the body's aligned and everything, they should just be able to swing and the ball go dead straight. And yet, very often, from a good setup position, majority of golfers have got that horrible one over to the right, and a smaller percentage of golfers have that one that curves way left. Now, when I listen to golfers, all they're working on is, can I change the path of my club? And even though path's a really, really important part of the golf swing, where that club face points is key, because the golf ball sets off incredibly close to where the club face points, but it's where the club face is pointing relative to the path. So irrelevant of what the path of the club's doing, if the club face is close to that, the ball will shape from right to left. If it's open to the path, again, irrelevant to the path, the ball will curve from left to right. So hopefully you're on board and you're going, yeah, do you know what? I've never worked on that. And maybe, just maybe, that's the one thing I've never worked on, but could be the thing that absolutely transforms my golf game. So, and it's a really fun way of learning when you do this. So what I say to every golfer is they stand up there and they have a pattern of what they tend to do. So let's say you're a golfer who hits that left to right shot. So you'll stand up, make that swing, and you'll see that one that curves over to the right. And even though I've left path on there, we can see that the face to path was 9 degrees open, and the face angle was 6.4 degrees open to the target. But the key is there, 9.6 degrees open to the path. So let's say I see a lot of golfers that's quite a good number. So my first thing would be, right, okay, so you set up square, and in your head when you're swinging, you think that that club face is square, and yet in reality, you're 9 degrees open. But your brain's labelled that feeling as square, which should be straight. So you can see the problem. The movement that they think and feel doesn't produce what they expect. So I would always say to the golfer, first of all, right, we're going to learn how you're going to deliver that club in different places. And there's no hard and fast rule and feel. We're going to set up square, and I always like to start with the one you're already good at. So we're going to set up square and say, right, on this one, I want you to try and get that club face to feel like it's as open as possible at impact. And the majority of golfers will do that one over to the right, and we'll say, okay, good. Now, interestingly there, that felt as open as I could, and yet was only your normal one. So they'll go, no, I can definitely do a little bit further than that. And we might see an even bigger number, and there we can see 12.8 degrees open to the path and 12 degrees open to the target. So we can see that ball there sets off right of target and curves left to right. Once guys start doing that, it's almost like that light bulb moment. So they go, wow, that didn't actually feel that different from my normal one. I'm like, well, we can see it wasn't hugely different. Now, I'm obviously giving TrackMan feedback on this, but you can tell from the curve of the ball, as long as it's not strong wind on your practice ground or driving range, you can tell from how the ball's curving. So once we've done that one, I would say to golfers, right, now I want you to try and get that club face closed at impact. kind of as much as you can. You can wrap the club over as much as you want. And what you'll normally see is they might lose a little bit of contact, but actually, you usually see if they get it closed at all, it's a very small number. And we can see there the face to path, 1.4 degrees closed. So then I'd say, right, allow yourself to misstrike it, because your brain kind of understands with an open club face how you get the club face on the ball. But I'm going to say, let's exaggerate even more than that. And it might take them a few goes, but eventually they'll get one that really curves right to left. And you say, okay, so 10.9 degrees close to the path, 6.7 degrees close to the target, but we can see that one setting off left and curving to the left. So then we've got some extremes of the scale. So I would always, if I'm face to face with somebody, give them a scale, say 1 to 5 to the right, 1 to 5 for the left, and then we'd work up and down the scale. So we'd say, right, so if that was the most exaggerated to the right and most exaggerated to the left, we've got 5 right and 5 left. So then we'd go, right, could we do 3 right? And again, we see the ball curve, but the club face is less open. And all of a sudden, it's not a great shot, but it's more playable. Then we say, can we go 3 left? And all of a sudden, we see a minus number on TrackMan. We see the ball curve to the left. And again, the number's smaller. Therefore, we might not be exact on the scale, but we're starting to show we can control the face and influence the golf ball. So then we might say, let's do what we think 1 to the right would be. As soon as I've struck that, I know that's a little bit more than 1. A bit closer to that 3 again. But I wouldn't say bad shot. I'd say, right, okay, I tried to do it. I overdid it. Love that. So on the next one, can I go 1 to the right? So there, the club face is less than 1 degree open. Club face is actually slightly close to the target. But we can see that actually gave a dead straight shot. So then, certainly for a draw of the golf ball, this is what I'd expect to see. But then you might say, right, can I do my 1 to the left? And there we go, a smaller number, but that one curving a little bit. So interestingly, you can see from how I work on the scale that actually when I feel like my club face is a little open compared to normal, it actually gives me a very straight shot. So as I work up and down the scale, and it usually takes, we spend a bit of time on this and have some fun. Like I said, there's no such thing as a bad result. It's learning experiences. Can we stand up there and get that club face at where we think 0 would be? So club face 2 degrees open to the path. And we see that one missing a little bit that way. And I try and explain to golfers, actually the thought of trying to get the club face dead square and 0 on TrackMan, and actually the ability to deliver that is incredibly difficult. And the best players in the world really struggle with the dead straight shot. So I'm not saying that you have to be able to produce 0. I want you to have something that you're fairly comfortable with, that you know what it does, even if it's a bit more shape than you would like to do. But if you know that you could just aim slightly right and do your -3, your 3 left, it might not be the straight shot, but you know with curve you can get the ball back to target. And the better and better you get with this, because the more you practice it, the more control you've got on the club face, the more influence on the golf ball. And it can be fun as well, particularly for the golfer who's always sliced the ball, that they say, I'd love to learn how to draw it. Well, learn how to close the club as much as you can and then dial back. Because as long as the ball's curving right to left, it's drawing. And then you can stand up there, choose whereabouts on the scale you're trying. And maybe, just maybe, you can start delivering the club how you want, hitting some amazing golf shots. And the beauty with the scale for the club face is even if you feel a little bit different day to day, so maybe for you your -3 gives you your dead straight shot. Maybe the next day it might be -4, it might be -2. because you've got that ability to control the club face, you've always got that ability to stand up, deliver the club how you need, and hit some incredibly high quality shots with every club in the bag.